Welcome to another episode of Honduras Corruption Profiles. And this video will be about Jaime and Yani Rosenthal. Jaime Rosenthal was once the Vice President of Honduras from 1986 to 1989. And his son, Yani Rosenthal, has attempted to run for president twice in Honduras, and once even served a 3-year jail sentence in the United States for money laundering. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the Rosenthal family of Honduras. The Rosenthal family of Honduras are one of the wealthiest and most powerful families of that country. There's roughly 10 very wealthy families who control most of the wealth of that country, and the Rosenthals are one of them. Jaime Rosenthal was born in San Pedro Sula, Honduras in 1936, and his father was a Romanian immigrant. His father was a Romanian Jew who moved to Honduras in 1929 and ended up creating a huge business conglomerate in Honduras called Grupo Continental, which to this day owns banks, meatpacking companies. They also own a TV channel, Canal 11. They also own a newspaper in that country named El Tiempo. They're really powerful. And Jaime Rosenthal and the rest of the family had this wealthy empire in the country, and they're very politically active. Jaime Rosenthal himself, privileged upbringing, he was able to go to university in the United States, where he attended the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, earning a degree in civic engineering. And later in life, he also ended up creating a bank in 1974 named Banco Continental, which is the 8th largest bank of Honduras. And the Rosenthal families I previously mentioned are very politically active, and they are members of the Liberal Party of Honduras, which is one of the two main parties of that country, along with the National Party of Honduras. Jaime Rosenthal served as the Vice President of Honduras from 1986 to 1989, serving alongside President Hoyo. And then from 2002 to 2006, Rosenthal was a congressman. And in 2006, he was named as being one of the most powerful men of Honduras. Jaime Rosenthal's son, Yani Rosenthal, was born in 1965, and he grew up in the very wealthy Rosenthal family and grew up involved in politics as well. Yani Rosenthal later served in the cabinet in the administration of President Manuel Zelaya, and later he became an elected congressman from 2010 to 2014. Things changed for the Rosenthal family. Oh no! When they ended up being exposed by the U.S. Justice Department. The U.S. Justice Department had been investigating the Rosenthal family for many years. So in 2015, they ended up exposing Jaime Rosenthal and his family as narcotics traffickers and money launderers. Jaime Rosenthal was sanctioned under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Act and labeled a narcotics trafficker by the U.S. Justice Department. Also, his son Yani and his nephew Yankel were also exposed in this report. The U.S. Justice Department stated in 2015 about the Rosenthal family, the men provide money laundering and other services that support international trafficking activities of multiple Central American drug traffickers and their criminal organizations. Banco Continental, the bank owned by Jaime Rosenthal, was exposed as being heavily involved in drug money laundering. So following the Justice Department's expose, Yankel Rosenthal, the nephew of Jaime Rosenthal, was arrested while flying on a trip to the United States at an airport in Miami, Florida. Yankel Rosenthal ended up going to trial and was convicted and found guilty and was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Also in 2015, Yani Rosenthal himself ended up surrendering himself to the United States. Yani Rosenthal was placed on trial, and he ended up pleading guilty in court to money laundering charges. The U.S. Justice Department says that Yani Rosenthal, while he was in Congress from 2010 to 2014, was working with the Los Chachiros cartel in Honduras. He took bribes from them that he claimed as political contributions and helped the Los Chachiros cartel use his family's banks and companies for drug money laundering so that they could enter into the international financial system. Banco Continental, which is one of the banks, as I mentioned, owned by his family, was used in this drug money laundering for the drug cartel group Los Chachiros. Yani Rosenthal ended up being sentenced to 3 years in prison after he pled guilty in court in the United States. He served 3 years in prison from 2017 until 2020. In addition to serving 3 years in prison in the United States, he was also forced to forfeit $500,000 and was also made to pay a $2.5 million fine. Jaime Rosenthal never ended up facing any justice. He was never extradited to the United States, and Jaime Rosenthal died in 2019 at the age of 82. Yani Rosenthal ended up being released from prison recently in 2020, and then he returned to Honduras, and he has since become the president, the leader of the Liberal Party of Honduras. And in 2021, Yani Rosenthal ran for president in the elections for the Liberal Party. Not surprisingly, Yani Rosenthal lost in the elections, and the winner was Xiomara Castro, who is the wife of Manuel Zelaya, who was overthrown in a coup in 2009. Yani Rosenthal was in third place. In second place was Nasri Asfoura of the National Party. This saga of the Rosenthal family is just one more example of how the rich oligarch families of Honduras, who control pretty much all the wealth and industry of Honduras, are rotten, corrupt people and abuse their power. And they're the leadership of the country. And the horrible legacy of the Rosenthal family just continues. The 2015 expose of them from the Justice Department and serving some time in prison in the United States didn't do anything to destroy Yani Rosenthal's political career, because despite serving prison time in the United States, as soon as he returned to Honduras, he was able to run for president in 2021 and leads the Liberal Party of Honduras. The corruption in Honduras is just so entrenched, and it doesn't end. And it's just really sad and pathetic.